at least
multiple
once.
times.
So
Multiple times.
we did spend like 2 weeks in Torch. So
yeah. Oh my gosh, so much time has passed.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm really sad because my hot chocolate's getting cold, and I'm not thrilled.
Well, you're drinking it too slowly.
There's
Maybe?
a lot of alcohol in it.
Good. So there is a map of Heidenvey that all of you are on.
Yeah.
Yep, all 2 of you are on. The key has been produced by myself, and I am pretty certain that is an accurate key. There are locations 17, 18, and 19 that are in the book that were not ever put on the map that might be actually some of the other locations, but we'll figure it out as we go. And if you ever do need to go to the Longbiter Lake, Bardley Clippers, or the Hands of the Community, we'll figure that out. Basically, do you need to go to Whole Foods? No. Do you need to go to a lake? Maybe.
Maybe.
That lake, actually.
We do like lakes. Let's go underneath it.
Yeah, I can already tell that things are mislabeled because that lake is number 16, and I did label it as.
You labeled it correctly.
Longbitter Lake.
You fixed it. You got it.
Something happened then. Okay, maybe I did fix it. Okay, well then nothing is going to match with numbers because of a accident with their map. Oh well, we'll figure it out. Okay, so yeah, you guys are let's say in well, by the way, as you leave the Blood Guards, is there any direction or anything like that you're going to leave with them? Are you going to tell them that you're going to come back to that same drop-off point after a period of time? Do you want to send them a message of some sort or nothing like that? Just goodbye?
I got nothing. Did you have anything? Because I don't know where we're headed after this. So I don't want to be like, yeah, we're coming back and then never come back.
What about if they could get a message to Valdron for you?
I don't think they know where he is, though.
You would know that Rockguard does not know where he's at. Yeah, you probably could have brought that up very, slyly in conversation, obviously.
Super subtle. Just
yeah.
That's fun. He's good at that.
Yeah, and she's getting a lot better at it. She's getting a lot better at it.
No, honestly, I don't have anything for them.
Okay. Now, the other thing too that I want to mention also is I just want to make sure that both of you are before we go any further, both of you are just super duper stoked about your character choices and how things are working out with both of your characters.
Yes, I am fucking satisfied and I'm perfectly fine and I will figure her shit out. Also, she's going to start using pew-pews because that might actually do a little bit better. But
okay, well, if there's anything that I need to help with, or if we need to maybe do some retraining, we could go through a montage where they're lifting the weights and they're shooting their guns and everything.
No, honestly, we might have a conversation about retraining at least one of her feats because her stupid point blank shot literally does shit for me right now. Because
there's a lot of things.
But I stand behind most of my decisions, even if they're super terrible. I'm gonna stand behind them. But point blank shot was one that I overlooked when back in character creation when I was gonna make her a pew pewy, and then she didn't turn into a pew pewy. So we might have to retrain that. But
so it would be that classic '80s montage song here.
Yes.
Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait.
No.
Can you guys hear that?
No.
No.
Hold on.
I can hear something very faintly, but I also hear the child in the background just
I was going to say that
much.
might be mine in the background because she's curled up in the corner.
Hey, she's having a good time.
Yeah, let's go with that.
It's temporary peace. I wish there was a way that you could be allowed to upload that because you could actually upload the sound file on that fourth music note over. Oh, there you go.
Yes, continue. Oh god. Oh wait, that's okay. We're
Yeah.
good.
I'm not gonna disappear from this page though.
You can have it open in a new tab.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
it's
I fully support that, Libby.
it's thunder in your heart. They use it in a lot of the like Family Guy and the American Dad when they're doing like an 80s style montage, like a type thing, like a BMX race. They did it because this movie,
Yeah.
it's from the movie Rad about like BMX racing.
Yep. That is exactly what we should be looking forward to. And if it does happen, that's the song that we're going to listen to in its entirety
Great.
as we role play out the retraining, because I think that would be really cool.
No, we're good. Thanks, though.
Right.
So while we are standing
outside the city, not right by the gates, right?
Right,
But,
like
I mean,
not at the gate, but like
yeah.
Are we
I
coming
zoomed in a
in?
little bit to cut
There's,
off
like-
some of the trash around the outside. So
Are we coming in by
but, like,
13 here?
yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be the southeast side. Or
But,
what in the hell? Oh my god, map. Oh, I'm so mad at you. Look at where north is pointing.
Well, you should have
Yes.
thought about that, shouldn't you?
F you, map. North is always up.
Apparently, it's not. So
So the southwest.
it's the
Corner?
south gate.
Nope, it's going east is now north. I've just got to blot over that and hold on here just so that I can fix this.
Oh my god. Okay.
I
Anyways,
missed this.
I'm gonna start.
Hold
while
on.
Dougie's fixing maps. What the
No,
fuck
I
are
need
you
to fill
doing?
that in now.
Oh my god, what are you guys doing? Stop.
Hold on. All I got to do is fill it in. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on now. Do regular.
Anyways,
There
so
we go.
as we are far enough away from the gate that like we can see,
There. Yes.
made it worse.
Nope, that's perfect. Go ahead.
Oh my god, I can't even with you guys.
Yes, there you go. Yes.
I quit. I'm done. Oh my god.
Perfect. And you get a gold star now. Gold star. The stars are flowing today. Woo! Look up into the sky and you're going to see some stars. Perfect. Libby just fixed the map. Perfect.
There. Let me try to make
Okay.
that S a little better.
Oh my God.
No.
Anyways,
Straight.
far enough away from the gate that we can like see the like no technology sign, but obviously not close enough to like.
You saw that on the dock, even. Remember,
Oh.
that was first on the dock, and then also getting feedback again. Somebody's gonna get in trouble.
Me, I fixed it.
And also, there's the gearsman. Part of the gearsman is going to be up here on a pike. So,
Cool.
there. So yeah. So
Um,
you have plenty. You have time. You have time to do things. No one's running out to say that you have technology. None of your androids with like the glowing bands of like color or light or anything, or nanites crawling all over you like lice. So wait a minute. What does bear look like?
Bear looks like a normal bear. Fight me, Doug. Okay. Anyways,
I hope they don't find out
Not
it's not a normal
drunk
bear.
enough
That
for
would
the
be
cat,
really
Douglas.
bad.
okay. Having a conversation with my group. Jesus, Doug. Libby, are you struggling with the South?
We've struggled with the South for hundreds of years.
I can't grab it.
Okay, you make a circle, you make a box around it, Libby. That's how you always do it.
I am, but
Just
I
make-
can't.
Well, I just did it. My lord.
I put a box around it, but it's not giving me the move icon to be
Well,
able
it's
to
because
move
it's
it.
so thin. You need to make it bigger.
Oh my God. Oh my
Hey, that worked.
Perfect. Okay, we're done. All right, that worked. What were you saying, Melissa? What were you saying? We fixed it. Libby Libby and I have always been good at teamwork. You know, the two of us together, we can power through about anything. All right.
Oh, good Lord.
Okay, yes, yes, technology.
Yes. High five.
Yes, you guys are awesome. Just
Well, one of these days we'll grow up.
all right. Yeah, outside of the city. Sunny would like to have a quick chat with her companions.
Yeah.
Yeah, super serious.
Okay.
I'm dying. Sorry. So this is going to be a very quick trip through Eidenvey. We're gonna check on family. We're gonna take care of whatever technically asshole is here, and then we're gonna dip. We're not staying very long. I didn't leave on great terms with my family, so we're not sticking around. Okay.
Kylan says, "Are they good cooks?" Delstria's family, well, I mean, her mother, was a very good cook.
Yes.
I can cook.
Well, of course you can cook coffee. We enjoy your coffee every day.
Well, then you can be the one making dinner next time we camp.
God.
My God, no.
Tor shakes
No.
his head. Tor's
No.
he's like, please, no, please.
No.
Absolutely
not.
looking around. He's like, I can make those pressed those paninis that we have.
Paninis.
Yes. I just, in between some armor plates.
Put them between his swords.
Push it down and have it on the fire, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but whose armor are you making paninis on? Because it's not your armor.
He looks over.
I guess it could be your sleeping armor.
He says, "My sleeping armor. I'll do it off my sleeping armor. That cleans up easy enough."
Oh, that's funny. Okay. But real talk, Delstria, what are we gonna do about that? Pointing at the giant ass grenade launcher.
Out of character. Don't you have a bag of holding, don't you?
No, I have a handy haversack.
What's
It is
the
definitely
space
not
on
gonna
that?
fit in my
How
handy.
full is it?
I mean, not super full, but it's definitely gonna have 2 weapons in it.
Would it fit a fire extinguisher and let's say 7 grenades?
I don't think we have a fire extinguisher.
Oh yeah, we do. Tor
We
has
do.
it.
Oh, Tor has it.
Yeah. Tor has a fire extinguisher, which he will
Maybe.
gladly hand over to you to put in the bag.
It can hold up to 20 pounds of material.
Let's see here. There's
Oh,
fire
the 2
extinguisher,
side
2,
pouches can.
3, 4, 5.
So yes.
I think it has to do with dimensions, is what it cares about, not weight, because weightlessness
8
happens
cubic
inside.
feet.
Whatever.
So the
For the
central
large
portion,
pouch, or 2 cubic feet.
the central portion can hold 8 cubic feet or 80 pounds of material. That would
Oh.
definitely
Okay,
hold a
yeah,
grenade launcher.
Excuse you. You are not overloading my shit because if it pops, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yes.
It only weighs 8 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you overload my bag, it's gonna pop, and then it's gonna.
Kylon's getting out his grenades. He says, "Well, I never use these things anyways. Here, open it up."
Well, we
Oh my
can
God.
put grenades in just a regular backpack, but the grenade launcher needs to be hidden.
Well, roll spellcraft check.
Yeah.
Both of you can.
Hold on, I have to find it. Spellcraft? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this a knowledge check?
Nope. It's gonna be just spellcraft. Why?
26.
Fuck you, Libby. I don't know why
Cat.
you make me roll anything, Doug.
Because I
gonna
like
assume
to
that
include you.
No, because Libby's just gonna roll everything, and then when she fails, then I'll roll. Okay.
Okay. There is a level 1 spell called Technomancy that works like Detect Magic, only specifically for technology.
Okay, so we need to put everything into the fucking bag. I got it. But if you pop my bag, I'm gonna be pissed because that was a lot of money.
Well, what do you have in the bag? If you have stuff in there
Everything. Literally everything is in my bag. I put everything in my
Kyla
bag.
says, I don't want to see some of the things that she's put in her bag. She's put some of her dirty laundry in there after it gets really stinky.
Well, I can
And
carry.
more grenades.
That's fucking weird.
I can
I
carry
have a regular
some of,
backpack.
I can carry
So I
some
can-
of
I
your
can-
stuff if you need me to.
No. I don't need you to carry anything. I'm just saying that if you guys pop my handy haversack, I'm gonna be pissed.
All right, well, the boys hand over their technology to you.
Oh my god. Okay, so it's gonna take me a few moments because I'm gonna have to pull out all of the non.
I'll just tell
Technical
you a
stuff?
total amount of weight, and then I'll put it on their sheets that it's been in your possession right now.
Cool.
It's super easy.
I wonder how they
4,
feel about
5,
like hypo guns, like medical technology.
They're probably against the law.
8. You're given 8 pounds to carry from the two of them.
Cool.
8,
I don't- 8 pounds. of
9,
techno shit.
Mainly
10,
grenades and
11.
a fire extinguisher.
You have 12 pounds from me.
20 pounds of techno shit. All right.
I know exactly what's going to happen now.
I'm so mad. It's
That's
gonna
not very
pop.
much.
That's not much at all.
It's not. We're fine. Just nobody touch the handy haversack.
Thank God Tor didn't take the chainsaw. Okay.
See, this is why we sold everything as we got it because
Mhm.
we didn't need to be carrying around, 400.
Do you have your pew pew gun in there too?
I do have the pew pew guns in there.
Okay.
That makes me so nervous to have them in there, but I don't have a choice because I don't want to get rid of them.
Okay, so you're going to have my grenade launcher and
Did you?
the hypo guns and the hemochem and canisters.
Oh, Doug, I have a question.
Yeah.
Nevermore. Is he always in bird form or does he go to like statue form at any point?
Oh, he goes to statue form when he's not being used.
Cool.
And as a statue, he looks like he is an object made with gears and stuff. Just basically like Bree.
No, that's fine. He's just
yeah.
gonna go in the bag. I just wanted to make sure
Oh,
that I wasn't
shit.
putting Robo Bird into the bag.
I'm going to try to sneak in the neurocam without them seeing it. Try to sneak that into the bag.
Oh my god, Libby.
The helmet.
You can just share what you
How in the
find.
hell have you been carrying around this helmet in a sack this whole time?
It's been in my backpack.
I can just see Tor looking over at it. This bulge in your sack.
Although,
And then
to be
you
fair,
very quickly throw it in there when
no,
Sunny's
to be
distracted.
fair, I don't think we question the things in Delstria's bag anymore because she always has weird stuff. Like,
It's not like I'm pulling out fuzzy handcuffs or anything. It's like
Yeah, well, that might be a little bit more normal. All right. Well, if you
What
want
about-
to try to do a sleight of hand to get that around Sunny seeing it, but I think Sunny's going to see it.
well, let's see, that'd be what a covert.
Yep. That was a covert check. And Sunny, what is your passive perception check?
I don't fucking know.
Oh shit.
It's
It's
10
12.
plus your ranks and your perception.
Yeah, hold on.
Or not your total perception score. Sorry, your total perception score, not ranks.
We're back
10
in that
plus my
bleedy.
perception.
Huh?
I said 10 plus my perception.
Uh-huh.
20.
Yeah, I just had a 12.
Okay, so
yeah, who's gonna be
everything's
sneaky
loaded
now?
in. Like all the technology is loaded in. Your haversack, you close it up and you cinch it tight, and it's there on your back, and you start walking, and then you feel like this little pull on your back. And you turn around, and there's this. It's not a gourd anymore, but it's an actual helmet with this that looks just like your gourd helmet, except it has this wire from the back of it coming off and like trailing down a couple feet. And he's trying to undo the strap on your bag to try to get it in the main section.
Did you need some help there, Delstria?
I forgot something.
Yeah, you did. When did you find it? I thought we agreed on no more secrets. Didn't we not agree on that? Kylon, didn't we agree on no more secrets in our group?
Kylon's like 10 feet ahead of you now, walking with Tor, and he turns around and he's like, he says, we no more secrets. That's what we said. We said no more secrets.
No more secrets, Delstria.
It was at Marshfield.
It was in Marshfield.
But what's a bluff anymore? Is that a
It's covert check also? Or influence. That's influence. Sorry, influence. Not very good. Not very good.
I might actually be able to beat this. Is that a sense motive?
That is once again the perception.
Fuck yeah, I beat it.
barely?
Okay.
Damn it. I'll tell you later.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like things are right there. What's being said is not completely accurate.
I found it in Marshfield.
Okay.
You found it not in Marshfield. You found it in the Niangua.
Well, semantics.
That's why you're rolling that bluff. Now you're trying to bluff the DM and you get an automatic one. No.
Okay.
Yeah, Sunny, you can tell there's something she's holding
Why do I have
back.
so much static on my headset tonight?
I don't know. It's your hair, maybe. So you can tell that your hair's just wadded in there.
Oh my god, we're never gonna get anywhere. All right.
So yeah, you can tell there's something she's holding back.
Okay. We will have this conversation later.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking secret keeping companions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're one to talk.
Oh.
I don't have anything hidden from you guys right now.
I don't believe that for a second.
Kylon looks back and forth. He says, it looks like the gates are shut up ahead. Is that normal?
I don't know. I've never been here.
But your parents live here.
Yeah. See, we're actually from a farm westward. Yeah, westward.
All you have to do is look here.
Look at the map.
I know. Like, I got lost.
Yeah, if you want to guess the relationship of which direction.
We were actually from a farming village to the west, but the crops weren't doing particularly well, so we were going to relocate. And then I left, and then got kidnapped and sold to Dussick, and then I made my way to Torch.
You got sold to Dussick?
Sold to Dussick?
Yeah, he bought me for 7 gold pieces and bear.
Kylon looks over at Tor, and he looks back to you. He says, Sonny, you need to tell us if you were a slave before.
I'm not really a slave. I mean,
well, it's not
I
not
killed
right
the dude who kidnapped me.
We don't believe in slavery.
That's good.
He says, no. So you're just going to go first then and talk to them and everything, since it looks like you might agree with them a little bit more. You might have more of whatever's going on here. And he points over and you see a big symbol of Aristil on the front gates.
Yes. Let's do that. I'll make my way to the gate.
Yeah, as you make your way up to the gate, your party continues behind you. And once again, all this forest to the south and to the east you can see are very luscious forests, like completely healthy, thick trees with lots of green brush, and it doesn't seem like any of them are faded into brown. It doesn't look like any of them are scarred by the poor soil, or there's just the bad climate of Numeria. All these things just look luscious and beautiful.
Luscious.
Is it out of season for them to be this luscious?
Both of you can roll a survival or a a nature check, which is a knowledge nature.
Ooh, I get a +5 on that for my. Which I'll have to add in.
I don't know anything about trees. Apparently, that's cool, whatever.
21.
Okay. You are Delstria, you are absolutely certain that these look like these have been
Ooh.
Wow, it looks like they're very bright. Their pigments, their coloration is just really bright, and you've seen.
Does it seem unnatural?
Well, you wouldn't say that. You've seen these trees before, like these certain kinds of trees, but they've never looked this bright and this colorful. And you would say that it does not look like anything else that you've seen before. Unnatural is maybe going too strong, but you definitely think that they have been munching on some very special environmental stimulus to get this way. It looks like they're really healthy, as a matter of fact, as you're looking at them.
The trees here are doing very well.
The small bug that you see crawling on one of them, you see it looks like it is a ladybug on the leaf of one of them. And the ladybug actually seems to have 2 mandibles, like 2 sets side by side, and does look like it's almost like a twin that's trying to split apart, that it's like been born very oddly. It also seems to have 12 legs, which is not normal. So it looks like there's something different about this little creature that just is not natural.
Huh.
Yeah, that doesn't bode poorly for us at all.
Meanwhile, Sunny.
What up?
And not to cut you off, Delstria, I want you to be able to role play it out. But Sunny, you remember hearing that this area, this city has been around for a long time. It was set up by staunch worshippers of Aristil that were fleeing from the south, an oppressed tribe of people that established this city possibly 100 years or more ago. And they came to this land because they found it was just absolutely like a Terran landscape. It was just completely fertile, and the land especially just really good at growing about anything. So these Aristil kind of vagabonds, these people streamed over from the south, and they came here and they settled. And I think they came from Nermanthus, if anyone cares. But anyways, they came from Nermanthus, and they had set up here because this is what this entire area was known as. Like this proximity within a couple miles here, just things are a lot more fertile and a lot more beautiful, and the plants are a lot more resistant to disease or drought or anything like that. So this is something that's normal for this area, and something that some people in your tribe, or your, should we say tribe? No, we'll say your village, seem to kind of protest against, because they didn't want to become part of like an Aristil cult. And this is known as almost like a cult-like, very staunch following of Aristil. And even though it is a good deity, it's a little bit too strong-handed for some people, or heavy-handed. So that's what you will know basically from your check. You don't see anything else different around the outsides there, the gate as you're approaching, or the trees nearby, or anything that pops to mind, though. Sorry, that was it. I mean, a coffee refill. I'll be right back.
Okay, bye. What the hey, Libby, you're leaving me too? Rude.
I'll be right back.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
All right. I don't know if that information changes anything with what you guys are going to do or your plans or anything.
No.
Didn't think so.
Okay.
So you make it to the gate, and the two towers next to it, as seen here, they're about 10 feet higher than the gate itself. The wall around the city is a 15-foot tall wall. This is one of the very few walled cities of southern Numeria, and the wall is made of wood, and it has been repaired multiple times whenever robots have attacked or other wandering beasts or any of those kind of things. And the really unique thing about this is it's really a big wall for how small of a city this is. Just to protect all the crops and all the greenery within. So it protects all their food supply. There are some guards there on the wall. There's one in each one of the... No, there's going to be two in one of the towers and none in the other. And as you get closer, they look down at you. These people are definitely not barbarians. These are not Kelid people. These are from other racial makeups from Galeria, probably part of the people who have actually settled here from long ago in Nermanthus, or a couple hundred years ago from Nermanthus. As such, they're not going to have your very special Doug barbarian accents. So sorry about that. So yeah, I know. Disappointments already.
It's okay.
We have so many NPCs that I will never mention again. So I'm so glad that you guys take really good notes, because I'm not doing the best to keep up on the NPC database or the list there on the drive, because there'd probably be another 30 names of people who I really don't care about. So anyways, so one of the guards there looks down and he says, "Welcome to Eidenvey." He says, "Travelers." He says, "What brings you here?" You don't recognize him, Sonny.
Didn't think it would.
Yep.
Greetings. My parents actually live in the city, and I was coming to look for them.
What are their names?
Neula and Buckran. Doug, I am a little toasty right now. Like,
You kind of knew this was happening for like 2 weeks, right?
yeah, I had a thing, but I think it's on the other computer. So
I have my thing printed out. Let's see, Neula Buckran. They look back and forth at each other, and the one that first talked to you, he says, I'll ask about them. He says, "You won't be barred entry anyways. Aristil welcomes all travelers, any of those from the forests, the wilderness, that seek shelter in his home." He says, "Please," he says, "be patient though. Give me just a minute or two and we'll open the gates."
of course, take your time.
He gets down climbs down from a ladder there in the guard tower, and the other one, as his friend's absence is there, he looks over and he says, "Where did you come from?"
Mostly from Torch.
He nods. He says, "That is a far journey from here." He says, "Have you did you travel by horse?" And he looks over at the horses that you're leading.
We did. We traveled by horse.
Nods. He says, "You've then gone through some of the woodlands though that could that could have some of the monsters. Did you run into any of the mutations there? Did you get exposed?
No, we have not been exposed.
Do you have COVID? Have you been saying? Have you been around anyone that's traveled out of Numeria in the last 15 days?
I'm pretty sure we traveled outside of Numeria in the last 15 days, but okay.
Shit, we have to quarantine.
Yeah, right. No, he says, well met. He says, welcome. He says, you'll like this town. He says, and if your parents have come here, did they come from one of the struggling villages nearby?
We did. We were from the west.
Wait a minute. From the west, obviously, from the west this way.
West seems to be a reoccurring theme here, Doug.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. He says, he says, okay. He says, well, they probably are working on a plot of land. We have all the newcomers work the land, of course, before they're granted their own plot.
Fair enough.
He nods, kind of looks around, leans on his javelin there that he has here by him on the tower. He says, you don't have any technology with you, do you? That's banned here. Yeah. Anything that the Technic League trades in or conspires to hoard upon themselves, they can have it all.
No, we have nothing on us. We saw the signs, and it's much too dangerous to carry that around.
He says, good. He says, good. I just wanted to check. We want to make sure that everyone is very safe when they enter the city. He says, anyone that would be violating that, he says, there'll be harsh punishments. Aristil's laws are very strictly upheld here, and justice is evoked very swiftly.
As it should be.
And he smiles at you again. He says, absolutely. He says, do you come to trade or just to visit your parents?
Just to visit my parents.
God damn it, I'm taking this fucking star away from you pretty soon. He nods. He says, well, okay. He says, someone says something from behind me, turns around and nods. He says, all right, we're opening. He says, welcome. And with that, you hear people moving to the gates, and the doors of the gates swing open, and there's a group of guards there that have kind of clustered around the entry area. Not too many, just 4 of them. You are welcomed into the city.
Question out of character. Mm-hmm. While I was waiting for my Keurig to piss out 12 ounces of cocoa, forever. Well, she made me want cocoa, so I made some cocoa.
She made you. Do you see how all of a sudden...
With Alyssa's cocoa, I was like, ooh, cocoa's so yummy.
Sunny's at fault for everything. She made you.
Whatever.
So, while I was waiting for my Keurig, did Sunny ask if any other travelers had passed into the village recently?
No question.
Talking about Aristil.
Yep.
I actually know about that god because I've been playing Kingmaker.
Yeah.
Aristil is amazing, and also I think you put way too much faith in Sunny. Sunny doesn't think about that thing. Like, that's why you are in the party, Delstria. Okay. Sunny's very focused on the task in front of her and does not think 2 steps ahead.
Well.
Yep.
I can't remember what Sunny's told us and what she hasn't. Has she told us that there were technically people here?
Yes.
Okay.
I think she did tell you that she was afraid of her family their safety because it seemed like there were technically people here. Yeah, that knew that she was from here too. I think.
Yes. Well.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not.
They knew that I was headed towards the river.
I think there just needs to be a section of the notes. Forget about all the other notes. It's just what Sunny has revealed and what Deltria has revealed. And we're gonna start on both those lists. Sunny's is pretty full. Deltria, yours is gonna start here pretty soon.
No, Deltria, you're racking stuff up.
The only thing I didn't tell the group was going to my dad's lab and
all the details about your father. That's okay.
They know what I know until just recently.
Yeah, until just recently. Like I said, you have a fresh page. Mentally working it out.
It's still marinating.
Yeah, marinating.
Okay.
So the doors are open to the gate, and before you is a beautiful town. Beautiful, really, just because once again those colors stream in to the insides of the gates. Also, only now you see potted plants, you see flowers, you see blooming plants, and you also just see vegetables that are growing it looks like they're almost out of control, their growth throughout small little plots in every single house along the street. So flowers are growing up onto the sides of houses. It looks like an enchanted village. Just with the number of beautiful colors that you see, whereas most of Numeria is this kind of this desolate wasteland, like you're in Mad Max or something. This town is absolutely opposite. And whereas the town maybe was built just with normal wood and the buildings looking just as blocky and boring as any others, now because of the plants and the grasses and the molds and everything that have grown up throughout the town, it looks lush and inviting, and it looks almost like a paradise inside.
I want to cast Detect Magic as we're going along. No, once we're in and walking through, I want to
away from guards and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Just to see if there's anything magical about the way these plans are being maintained.
Mm-hmm. First off, though, the guards are going to direct you. Oh my gosh, Doug, what are you doing, Doug? I don't know. Okay, good deal. Which is number 11.
The perfect map.
Hey, I'm really excited to see the perfect map. It's probably a map maker.
What? Oh my God. Please do not tell me it's different on here too. No, number 9 is the rowdy houses.
Are we going to the rowdy houses?
No, I hope not. One of the guards says one of the guards says, he says, past the rowdy houses. He says at the very end, no, over here, this little house, he says over here, he says, past the rowdy houses is going to be where you're going to find your parents. He says, that's where we set them up. And he has a list that he's going through, and it looks like basically a list of where everyone's living that came from outside this town, and he's reading everything, and he looks at it. He says, yes, that's where they're at. He says, that's where Neula and Bukran, he says, both of them staying. And they're working in the nearby fields, he says, in the meantime. He says, working there with the plants and harvesting. He says, doing really well, actually. I've seen them, and most of the people from your village that have decided to come over. He says, very nice people. He says, you come from a good bloodline. He smiles at you.
Thank you so much. We're going to go.
He says, of course. He says, now, he says, one other thing. He says that you might, he says, just depending. He says, the high home. He says the high home acts as and he's going to say it's number one. Should always be number one. The high home is a place where visitors stay. So if there isn't any room where your parents are staying, that's a community center, a meeting hall. He says also a place for out-of-town guests to stay.
Perfect. Do you guys have a tavern?
They look back and forth, and they
Oh,
kind of laugh. They laugh to each other. They do have a tavern. I just don't know if it actually made it to the. Actually, I was reading about the taverns.
Libby, I'm gonna ask about the important things, okay?
Of course.
Come on now. Sunny's gonna need a lot of drinks after this.
What's this giant divot behind the high house?
Well, that's something that you're going to find out about. It's a perfect place. Perfectly
Looking
wonderful.
at it, it looks like it's going to be a crater, so it's probably going to be a meteor, maybe a piece of spaceship that's definitely infecting everything around here. That it's not really Aristo's blessing, but like
It looks like a hill, not
up.
going. It's coming up. The lighting's wrong for it to be going down.
It is going up. Yeah,
It's
it's
a hill.
definitely, it's like a mound. It's a mound
Yeah.
around there. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm keeping my thesis that it's definitely a piece of fallen something that's infecting the soil.
There absolutely are some places. I just cannot find them right now.
It's not important,
but-
Doug. Like,
yeah. There are several by the rowdy houses. I'm going to say maybe the square building behind the
Sure.
rowdy houses is going to be a tavern. And there's several others that he is. He'll point you to that one. He says now just keep in mind. He says the brew that we make here is often considered a little bit too bitter for outsiders. He says so. He says just understand that. He says almost all of it's going to be cider around here.
thank you for the warning, and cider will actually do my party well.
He says, fair enough. He says one other thing. He says, everyone here, and this, he kind of bristles up a little bit, and you hear Tor just kind of moves one half step towards like where he can get in front of both of you. He says, just to let you know, he says, at nighttime, he says, there's a curfew right now. There's some mutants that are wandering around, he says, to the south.
Mutants?
Inside of the walls?
He says outside of the walls. He says, but he says some of your own, he says, and some of ours have gone down to try to handle them. It was a disaster. He says has just happened, and some of them did not make it through the incident very well. Others are healing now. He says, for right now, he says the guards we're asking that everyone stay inside in the evening time for your own safety.
Okay.
What do you mean by mutants?
He says, mutants, they, throughout Numeria, the unnatural things that are not fit to eat or even hunt, those that would not receive a blessing from Aristil, but rather a curse from, he says, from maybe another goddess. Look back and forth at the, you can roll a religion check if you'd like to.
But I know it. I know it.
Hmm.
Oh, I have no points of religion. Look at me go. Oh, fuck.
Yay!
But
Neither
Tor
one of
has
you
religion.
know. Neither one of you really know. Oh, yes, they do. Both of them do. Oh my god! And you know who's going?
Kylon?
Is it Kylon?
Kylon says, he says, Lamastu. And they look, the guards look at him.
Was
and
that
they
Tor or
nod.
Kylon?
Kylon?
No, Kylon says it, but he says it in a gravelly voice. He says, Lamastu. And they nod to him, and he says, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Oh, well, we'll help you out to take care of any of your problems with that. Don't worry. We've just killed a god. We can handle something like that. Now,
Oh my
mutant
god.
or two.
Kylon,
Kylon.
honey.
The guards look inquisitively back and forth. One of them says, a god. You've killed a god.
Kylon
Kylon
likes to
nods.
embellish stories. It's nothing.
He says, I'm not embellishing a story. He says,
I
Kylon?
look
"Be
at
able to
Kylon
take
and
care of
glare
the
at him.
mutant." he looks back at you glaring, and then he seems to understand after like a second or two, and he says, well, he says, anyways, we can help you. We'll definitely help you if you need any help with any mutants, especially if they're from that evil goddess.
As a side note, she's totally the background on my phone right now, in case you wanted to know.
I figured she would be.
I love her so much. She's one of my favorites.
The guards show you where the stable is nearby, where you can put your horses, and then they welcome you to the city, and they bugger off on their own business.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, you do notice that they were absolutely looking you over, each one of you, and some of the guards like walked around the party, like circling the party, just kind of gain an idea if there was anything that stood out from you. And you think they definitely have taken down. As a matter of fact, before you leave, this is something they would do. They are going to ask for your name and your village where you've come from. Each one of them is going. Well, the one leader is going to ask each one of you, I should say, to record that information.
Yeah, I'll happily give it.
Yeah. Nothing from Tor or Kylon. They're not going to hide that. So,
are they asking where we just traveled from, or
basically
home?
like where your home village? Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they take down your name, your home village, and seems like they've added it to the log of other records, and then they go ahead and now they bugger off as they leave. Not seeing any technology on you, not seeing anything that looks suspicious on either you or your bear or your horses. So everything's good.
Has Idenve always been so cautious of visitors?
Are you asking the guard or Sunny?
Sunny.
As they're leaving.
I don't know. Again, I've never been here.
Well, Kylon looks around. Looks like your parents have just stumbled into a problem here with mutants all around.
Well, as someone so kindly offered up, we'll apparently take care of that.
He nods. He nods proudly.
Did you not understand?
He says, there's not like it's going to be like gangs that we have to overthrow and liberate an entire city. I mean, it's Aristill's a good god. I mean, a little bit. He's like, he says a little bit weird. But you know, look how beautiful it is in here.
And Kylon, I know Sunny's mentioned this before, but you really have to stop telling people that we killed a god.
He thinks about it and then he nods. He says, "You're right." He says, "You know, my father, he wouldn't be so proud. It could be seen as a prideful statement, maybe over exaggeration, maybe a braggart, something a braggart would say. And my father wouldn't. You know what? You're right. I won't say that, but we all know that it happened. So
yes.
we should be
and
able
that's
to
the important thing."
Mm-hmm. He says, and we'll still be able to help them if they need help. Yeah, you guys, do you want to take your horses and check them in and then stroll on through the city?
Yes, please.
Okay. As you're making it through this lower road, you come upon a beautiful beautiful pond with bright blue water. The people there that are fetching water directly out of it seem to be taking it in their homes, much like you would a well that's drilled deeply, but it looks like it's completely clean and no one's bathing in it or anything like that. So maybe a set specific place where they're getting their drinking water from. You are going to go by two other establishments. One of them here has a big dome roof on the top of it. And it looks like the top of the dome is open. A very oddly shaped building that's actually made out of bricks rather than wood, like most of these other buildings. And then the next one that you go to is going to be a larger residence with two guards posted out front.
So is that a straw? Astronomy? Is that like a telescope?
That might be.
Ooh, Delstria wants to go there.
Ooh. She stops. There's a sign there, and it shows like it looks like there is a painted onto it are all these little stars all around the sign.
Okay. Did Delstria detect any magic since she was doing that as we were walking?
As you get away from people and you're able to detect it or cast a spell without people noticing, you scan the area and you do not notice any magical presence in the proximity here of, let's say right around here.
So the water's just naturally.
Yeah, natural. And the buildings here, I mean, unless it's something that's maybe through several walls of building, you'd be able to detect it. So nothing in this radius. It'll take concentration to maintain the spell, but if you'd like to, you can maintain it and get a penalty to perception checks if you'd like to while walking around the town and just kind of holding it steady.
I feel like she maintains it until she sees the astronomy thing, and then like everything vanishes because she's like, okay.
Well, I can recast it. It's a cantrip.
Right. It's just you're casting magic spells, and most people don't have spellcraft checks. So what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So magic isn't super common, but it's not forbidden or outlawed. So, I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal, but it definitely will, as long as you're doing spells that aren't harming people or shooting out fireballs, it shouldn't be too suspicious. So, the rowdy houses, you see, actually maybe get their names because they are a cluster of houses here with, it looks like inside, you see some people, basically everyone that's throughout this entire area is in their late teens and early 20s, all throughout this area. There's a few that are around, but you notice that, inside the places are just not much furniture, not much of any kind of luxuries inside, and looks like there's a lot of people like coming and going, and you hear some people singing from one of the houses. It does seem like maybe a younger population in these houses.
Question: is everybody that we're seeing and passing so far human?
Oh no, there's a mix of people. There's some half elves. There's some humans. There are some halflings. A lot of halflings actually. But I mean, a lot. I shouldn't say a lot. There's like one or two halflings. Like most Pathfinder cities, this is probably going to be about 95% human. Because humans, for some reason, are just the popular way to go. So, yeah.
Because they're easy?
Because they're easy. Yep, they're easy. So,
so they're like a blight upon the land?
Yeah, that too. You've seen a few of them, those other races, and everyone here is dressed in like green cloaks or furs. They have symbols of Aristil on them, either on their clothing or maybe some very basic wooden jewelry, or something like that. They look like maybe simple people in one respect, but also they look pretty familiar to like a farming community, especially for you, Sunny, for what you've seen before. And it is pretty soon that you come to the end of the rowdy houses and you see out in the field here working some vines that look like they're maybe a vineyard or at least a row of vines there for some kind of grapes. You see I guess pronounce it right. Nayula.
Yes.
Okay, Nayula, your adopted mother, and she's there with a wicker basket, and she's picking out the grapes. And keep in mind, this is long past like the harvest season. Like this is at beyond the end of it, so it's kind of weird that you would have this happening. But anyways, things are not growing the way that they normally would here.
I'm not sure Doug can hint any harder. Like, hey, something's super not right here.
No, it's a blessing of Aristil.
Less Aristil. Yeah.
So she is.
Okay.
She's down there. She has just a simple tunic on, and she has a apron over it, and she's picking, and she's putting them into the basket, and you hear her kind of humming to herself.
I'm gonna leave my companions on the road. I'm gonna tell Alpion to stay, and I'm gonna walk over to her.
Okay. She doesn't notice you at first. She's picking and kind of humming to herself, and this is a song that you've heard before. It's actually one that she has sung on a regular basis. It's a happy song. It's a song about who God only knows what.
Detail, I love it. Perfect.
The happy sun shining down upon you. Good day. We're having a great day. Something like that. It's very simple. She's whistling it. No, she's humming it. She doesn't whistle. She hums it. But a simple song that you've heard 100 times before. And she's just going ahead picking along, and you see her basket is completely full of grapes, and they're still plentiful there in that vine where she's working.
So weird. It looks like you're about to need a new basket.
She says, "Oh," she says, I will," and then she turns around and she sees you, and she says, oh, "Is that you?
Hi.
Sunny." She gets up and she goes and she gives you a hug. She embraces you. She says, "Oh no." She says, Why did you come back? Why are you here? Why now?
What do you mean, why now? What's wrong?
She pulls you away. She says, "No, oh no, Sunny. Oh." She says, how did you hear the news? How did you know so soon?
What news?
She says, "Of Talon and Hawk." She says, "How did you know?"
I don't know anything. What happened?
She looks down. She says, "Oh no." Her eyes, as she looks back, they get tear-filled, and she says, "Oh," she says, sweet child, why?" She says, "Oh," "the only blessing I was thinking about is that you weren't here. You weren't here to see it, and you weren't involved in it. You would have surely gone with them." She says, "Oh no." She says, "Oh no." She says, and she eyes now start to tear up, and she says,
Mom.
She says, "Oh, Sunny, they went out hunting. They went after that beast. It killed the high priest. So they went out and they went after it. They went into its lair and they killed one of them, but then the mate struck back at them the next night. Followed them, remembered their scent. Them and one of the elders, the elders died. And them, both of them, they're laid up at the hall." She points up the street, and you see all the way up the hill, you see this big building.
Aristil, bless you, Mother. You could have told me that they were still alive before this.
She says, "Well, they're barely alive." She says, "Talon can't even move the bottom part of his body. It's been severed nearly. And the cleric can't do anything about it. He says it's outside of his ability. Though the high priest could have helped, but not him. And Hawk, poor Hawk, that new woman that he's met, she's just babying him and tending over him, and he's not gotten out of bed in days. In days now. Something about that poison that thing put in him."
Oh, good. They're poisonous. That's what I like to hear. Great.
She says, "You should take this more seriously." She says, aren't you upset?"
Yes, I'm very upset.
She says, "But She says, but you're home. She says, you're home now, though. You're here to stay, aren't you? You can help him. You can chase away that woman, that Varisian woman with her little sound devices and her little tantalizing dances. She drew him away from you after you left, you know. His heart was broken after you turned him down. And
oh my God.
And now he's decided that he would go with the first thing that he saw, I guess. You need to get her away from him,
always
though.
Kind of stupid like that. And no, I'm.
She says,
he's got a lot of emotions. She's working through right now.
Says, she is not a stupid man. He was the best man in our village, and from a good family also.
Oh my Aristotle. Mom, stop. You gotta stop. We're not doing this again.
She says,
okay?
She says, well, she wipes her hands now on her apron. She says, maybe Buckran will be able to talk some sense into you. He was always a little bit better than me. You should just stay here, though. You should stay here and get comfortable. Maybe you can help Hawk and bring him back to his right senses.
Sure, I'll do what I can, but it's not just me. I have friends.
She turns and she looks and her mouth opens. She says, what is that? She says, what is that? And she points over and she points at the whole group saying that. She says, what is this that you brought back? She says, are they all moving in? Do they intend to live here and settle?
Mom, we're not staying.
But yes, you are. You're done running around with these silly ideas of yours. You
Mom,
always have the silly ideas, and you've come back.
Mom, it's been like 4 months.
But look how beautiful it is here, honey. You could settle down and talk. You could make him want you again.
Oh my God. Mom. Okay, why don't you come meet my friends and let's not talk about Hawk anymore. Okay?
She looks over at them and she says, what, is one of them now caught your heart? Is that what it is now?
No, not one of them.
Oh, but someone.
She looks at the whole group. She says, we'll talk about it more. She says, but you know, she says they're welcome to stay here, but they didn't bring back anything from, anything that they shouldn't have brought in, have they?
No, of course not.
Okay, she nods. She says, the people here are very serious. They're very extreme about their beliefs.
Yeah, we saw the sign, Mom. We got it. We're good. We're clean.
She says, and that bear of yours, she says, he's still with you.
Of course he is. He's a little bit bigger now, but...
She nods. She nods. She says, 4 months. She says, look at him already. Oh, she says, bigger. Sonny. She pats your hand. Sonny.
Yeah.
She says, I just don't know. She says, let's go meet them though. She says, I don't want to be rude.
Yes. So I'm going to bring her over.
The woman that you run into has a kind of frazzled hair that looks like she's kind of like pulled it back and tied it back, but still strands of it stick out in other directions. She looks like she's almost panicked, Delstria, whenever she comes over to you. Like her eyes are darting around and wide open, and she just looks like she's really worked up and stressed for some reason. She says, hello. She says, I'm Nayula. She says, and Buckran he's over that way inside the house, and he'll be coming out. We're the parents of Sonny here, and it's so nice to meet you all. So nice to meet you, each and every one. Welcome to Eidenvey. Kyla nods. He says, well, nice to meet you too. My name's Kylan. And this is Tor over here. And this is Delstria. And he says, in Alpion. And he points down.
Kyla, she's met Alpion.
She nods. She says, I know about that big bear. Yes, I know about him. And she says, welcome all. She says, where'd you come from? Did you all come from Torch? where she found you at?
Yes.
You've given her mother a weird accent now.
I know.
She's panicked. It's okay.
She looks over. She's like, okay. She says, okay, well, now we anything that you need, you can. There's a hall over there where you can stay at the top of the hill, of course. But Sunny and I will be going there pretty soon just to see one of her friends from her village. It's very sick and ill and needs some tending to. And in the meantime, she says the rest of you can, I guess, explore around the city and see what it has to offer for you.
You know, weirdly, Mom, I don't think we want to split our group up. We do really well together.
Kylon nods. He says, that's the first way that you get killed out in the road is if you split up
God.
your group.
Kylon? Didn't really mean get killed. Mom, we're totally safe.
She looks you over. She says, and what is this, all this new things about you anyways? She notes the new armor, clothing.
It's been a very prosperous time in Torch.
She looks at you sideways. She says, She says, okay. She says, well, let's go up the hill. Hawk will be so happy to see you. So happy.
Sure. Let's go see Hawk.
She turns and she says, pleased to meet you all. Pleased to meet you all.
Likewise.
As Kylon starts to take the step up the hill with you. Tor gives you a look, Delstria, like something's just really odd about her mother not wanting you to go with her. Do you let her go by herself, or are you guys gonna go along?
I'd say we would follow, considering we'll be staying there as well at the longhouse, or whatever it was called.
High House?
The high home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, high home. She says, yes, of course. We'll just be in the other wing. And she kind of hurries along now. She's like, Sunny, quickly, we need to go see him.
Oh my God, it's not like he's going anywhere.
She goes, shh.
Sorry. I'm gonna kind of look back at Tor and pleading, oh my God, we're gonna go drinking after this.
Tor just shakes his head a little bit, and you all make it up the hill through houses, and you see the commerce seems to be maybe on this second street where a lot of merchants are and businesses, and you make it up the street to the high home. The high home itself, obviously the most prominent, just because of its location, if nothing else, but also its size. Looks like there are multiple symbols of Aristil on the very heavy timbers that were made as the corner posts here in the foundation of this building, and it rises up a good 30 feet. The entryway is magnificently large with huge doors, and as you make it up there, Naula, she gets about to the top of the hill with you, almost dragging Sunny along. And as she gets there to the front, she says, no, Sunny, she says, I'm going to go and get Bucker, and he'd be very upset if he knew that you were in town without him knowing. I forgot all about him. But it's very important. She says, you need to get this Alaris away from him. She leans in and she says, I think she's a scandalous woman. She turns.
Okay.
She turns and she says, She says, and please try not to stare. She says, try not to stare at Talon. Just don't stare at him. And she pats your hand again. Pat, pat, pat on the top of your hand. And she turns and she goes zipping down the hill now.
Okay. Oh my god.
She goes past your group now and she says, goodbye, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Nods as she goes zipping past the rest of your group. As they catch up to you, Kylon looks down the hill where she's going and he says, she's very very lots of energy.
She likes to set her sights on something and doesn't like being told no.
Oh, he nods. He looks over at Tor. He says, that sounds familiar, doesn't it, Tor?
Kylon, do you have something you want to say to me?
No. He says, I think that we're going inside this big place and you need to catch up with another one of your, is that one of your childhood friends that she keeps on mentioning? I thought she said something about another woman you needed to chase off or something.
Yeah, Hawk and Talon have been my friends since I was 10-ish, so it's been a while.
Should we leave you alone to go
No.
see them?
Oh my god, please don't leave me alone. Apparently they were damaged. They were hurt.
They took some HP, maybe some con damage.
They were injured by the mutant creatures because they're stupid and they were like, oh, we can go fight things, but they're really dumb. And
yeah. Kylon says, well, he says, all right, we'll go talk to them then.
Okay, just apparently one of them, the mutant, has a mate. I don't know, and they're poisonous. I just want information so we can go kill this thing so we can go.
So we can go.
Tor, we're definitely gonna go drinking tonight. I can already feel it. It's gonna be a long day.
Oh God. As you go inside, a young priest of Aristil, well, not young, in his 20s, priest of Aristil is in through the main chamber, one of the side rooms that's still massive. The main chamber itself looks like an audience hall that's 2 stories in height. The top story actually is ringed with other small rooms. The bottom level looks like there are along it's west and eastern sides of the building. West and eastern sides of the building are smaller meeting rooms and maybe multi-purpose rooms. One of them is actually the very first one on your left is one where there is a priest standing there with a symbol of Aristil set out on, it looks like an altar on one of the tables, and spread out are several scrolls. And as you come in, he turns around quickly and he says, you're not the guards. I was looking for the guards. Do you bring word from any of them? Do they have any? Did any of our scouts come back yet?
I'm sorry, we don't know.
What are you looking for?
He looks at you. He says, well, we just sent out some to the south. He says, I guess they wouldn't be back already anyways. You obviously aren't for that. Yeah, you're travelers, aren't you? There's guest rooms up on the top on the right. There's a row of rooms, and I would love to be able to help you and check you in, of course, and welcome you to the city. He says, sadly, one of the councilmen, Red Fang, was recently killed. He was the holder of High Home. We have not replaced that privileged position yet, and I am the only one that is here right now. He says, my name is Borak. He says, and I am now the high priest in town also, a new position. I was a, he says, anyways, he says, I am now the new high priest. And he smiles at you and kind of shakes a little bit. And he says, and welcome. He says, and if you need anything, please, maybe go, you can ask me later on. But right now I need to look into these scrolls, and we have some patients on the lower level in the next room here on this side of the building. If you could just make sure that you don't disturb them. I am treating them for their injuries, and they need a lot of sleep, a lot of rest. And if you have any alms or prayers that you'd like to offer outside their room, you can leave something there for them. And I am sure that it will help with Aristole's blessing upon them. So, okay, very nice to meet you. And he turns and he goes into a scroll again, stretching it out. And he looks at it and he starts to mumble to himself as he's looking.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make my way to the lower level where he told us not to go, because
it's a one room away. It's in, basically off of this very large chamber again. The door is shut. You see that there are some candles burning outside of it, and it looks like some people have left various trinkets and things there outside the doors. It looks like a number, basically well-wishings and any kind of like small offerings of food and things like that, even that are left. A spearhead. All sorts of weird things that would relate specifically to Aristille, you would guess, as far as like the bounty of food and harvest that's left there, in a way of trying to offer some kind of, I don't know, direction from the god himself, maybe.
okay.
The door is shut. There are no windows going into the room.
I'm just gonna open the door. Well, I'm gonna try the door and see if it's open.
It opens.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in.
Inside, a smell comes out that is it's not the healthiest of smells. It's a smell of sickness, you believe. And what was held inside the room quickly reveals itself to be two brothers in beds on either side of the room from one another. There are some candles burning in here, but still you can smell just the faintest smell of body odors and such that would not be present in a normal room like this. And one bed is Talon, and the other is Hawk. Covers, blankets, furs pulled up over Talon almost to his neck. Hawk has all of his bedding off, and a small chair there sitting next to his bed as if somebody has been visiting him on a regular basis.
Is the scandalous woman in there?
There is no scandalous woman inside there.
I'm so excited to meet the scandalous woman. It's going to be great. I'm going to make my way to the end of Hawk's bed, and I'm going to kind of like nudge his foot. Hey, dummy.
Out of character. Wasn't he paralyzed? He's not going to feel it.
Yeah.
No, Talon was paralyzed. Hawk is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being babied.
Yeah, Talon.
Scandalous
do you
woman.
have their picture to show to us?
They're in a story. Hold on.
Yeah, if you can work on that.
Oh my god, you're so needy.
Give you something else to do.
I have to remember which one it was. Oh, it's this one. It's where I met Elvian. I got it. I'm listening. Oh shit.
Hawk's eyes flutter open. He looks up at you, and you can tell he's trying to focus his eyes. You see, it looks like both of them are kind of bloodshot, and his skin though looks really pale. It looks like also his beard has been shaved off completely.
Oh,
Yeah, something
I
that
like
you
his
don't
beard.
think that he would have wanted. He looks up, kind of focusing. He's like, Sonny? Sonny, is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
I
What the fuck were you thinking?
His eyes close. He's like, Sonny, Sonny, I missed you so much.
I missed you too, you idiot. What? Why? You could have gotten killed.
He
Which
says,
one's which?
They're in order. So Hawk is the barbarian dude with the man bun, because I have a type, and
I was gonna say he looks a lot like Valdron.
oh,
I have a thing. Fight me.
He says, Sonny, you're always so pragmatic when it doesn't involve you. That gets a chuckle from Tor. He's like, he says, whatever it was, he says, this creature, he says, it was harassing the people who live outside the city. We had to do something about it. So he says, one of the eldermen, Red Fang,
Whoa, why did my screen stop sharing?
he nods. He says,
You are a fantastic hunter, but you are one person. Two, well, really 1.5 if you count your stupid brother, but
he chuckles a little bit. Then he holds his side. He's like, oh, he says, son, he says, at most he's half a person. You're right. He says, so we killed one of them, but we didn't kill the other. He says, tried to hunt it down. He says, it failed horribly. He says, obviously.
don't worry about it. It's going to be taken care of.
He says, yeah, he says, Sonny, and he looks at your group. He says, you're with a lot of other people now, aren't you?
I am. I found a couple of new friends.
Alpion comes barging through the door and kind of nudges into his arm. And he pats the bear. He says, and you've grown quite a bit, haven't you?
Yeah, that's what happens with a big appetite.
He says, Sonny, I wanted to say I'm sorry.
No. We're not doing this.
He nods. He says, I'm really sorry. So he says, I think I'm going to be fine, but Talon is not doing well. It broke his back and his claws sunk in. He says he can't move anymore, really. He's not doing very well.
We will we'll see what we can do for Talon as well. My companions have a couple of tricks up their sleeves, and I'm hoping something will work.
He nods. He says, I knew the barbarians coming here was a bad sign.
The barbarians came?
I think they stirred up the mutants and they actually got them moving this direction. I don't know.
What barbarians?
He says black horses. He says one of those destined to take over the leadership. His father. He says didn't stay here very long. He came here because he said he knew it was the closest place in his mind to where they were going, to some tower, to get a wizard to help them. He shakes his head. He says, left here within a day. And then after that, those monsters started attacking. I don't think it was a coincidence.
Probably not. How long ago?
It says, 4 or 5 days ago.
Fuck.
He looks at you. He says, What?
I know the barbarian, and we've been playing this weird game of cat and mouse.
He says that's great. You don't let me apologize, and then you tell me about this.
Hawk, we're not doing this.
He looks at you.
Fine.
He looks at you. His eyes kind of just like there's water in his eyes. You don't think it's tears, but he just looks at you. He says, okay. He says, all right. He says, so why'd you come back, Sonny?
Call it a gut feeling.
Uh-huh. Nods. He says, you aren't going to stay, are you?
I can't.
Why?
Call it a gut feeling. There are bigger things at play here, and
he says, bigger things. Okay. He says, I think I've heard enough about that. He says, your mom and dad, I look in on them.
thank you. I really appreciate it.
And he says, and this place isn't too bad. He says, as long as you don't, do something just obnoxious. I mean, they're actually much better once you start working and you show that you're useful, that you can tend to crops, and that we aren't just trying to take over their city or change them.
So I wouldn't fit in very well at all then.
He shakes his head no. He's like, no, you wouldn't fit in very well. He says, you probably don't need to stay then, I guess. But it's good to see you. He says, anyways, I've just now started to move on a little bit myself.
I heard. I look forward to meeting the...
He says, Sonny, we don't need to get into that, do we?
If she's important to you, Hawk, she's going to be important to me.
He says, yeah, maybe so, yeah. So he says, it's good to see you. He says, if there's any way that you could help, he says, of course, he says, I'd be indebted to you. He looks at the entire party, basically saying that, not to you, Sonny, specifically.
No, you wouldn't owe us anything. We will do this because you're like family. Can you tell us where you last saw this mutant thing?
He says, Jevik's farm. Outside of Jevik's farm. It's to the south.
Is that real south or is it Doug South?
No, it's this south. Just like the key says. He says Jevik's farm is out to the south. Outside the wall. He says maybe maybe an hour's walk at most. Probably less. He says, the way you walk, though, maybe 3. He smiles. And he holds his side again. says,
Oh,
Sonny, and he reaches out his hand to you.
I'm gonna take it.
He rubs the top of your hand with his thumb and he says, I really missed you.
I've missed you too. And when you are feeling better, I have so many stories about what's happened. But you clearly need to rest.
He says, I want to holds his chest. He says, I want to hear them. I want to hear them all. He says, and Talon will want to hear them too. You can't just tell me.
Of course not.
He'll get angry.
I mean, that's never stopped me before, but
he says, you're going to be staying here, right? In the grand hall here.
I believe so, yes. I don't have any plans otherwise.
Good. He says then you can be close. He says, could you bring a bell maybe? And then I could ring it whenever I need help. He smiles again. Obviously joking. He says, perhaps 2 or 3 bells, just in case.
I mean, knowing me, I tend to sleep through the first ones, so I'll see what I can do.
He lets go of your hand. He says, okay. He says, nice to meet all of you. He says, I'm sure that if you're traveling with Sonny, you have thick skin and an appetite for, he says, craziness. Looking at you now, Sonny, you see he just looks deeply into your eyes and he has not moved on, you can tell. And he kind of looks away. He says, I'd best sleep. He says, they keep feeding me. And he looks over and you see a bowl that obviously is some kind of medicine, you believe, that has like this dark liquid in it.
Sleep. I will come back.
Nods. His eyes almost immediately close as his head kind of drops back. And he's out like very, very soon. Tor looks over at you, Sonny. He's like, can I? And he points over at Talon, like where he's sleeping. He wants to see if he can see what's wrong with him.
Please, anything you guys can do, please.
Tor's going to pull back the sheets, and Talon is sleeping on his side, facing away from you, and Tor looks down at his back and kind of grimaces as he looks back towards you, and he points, and you can see from the wounds that it looks like the flesh has been healed, but the entire back looks like it's been ripped apart, and the vertebrae are no longer connected.
Is this a lesser restoration? Because I kind of feel like I might have done something similar with Garmin, but
This is a regenerate level 7 spell.
Fuck. Doug, I can't do that.
No one can do that in town. No one can do that in town.
Shit. Okay.
Alternatively, I guess, you could kill him and then maybe do Raise Dead and have him come back in a body that heals itself.
We do have a helmet. So really all I need to do is take him down to...
God. What do you know about that helmet? It was a stupid gourd at one point.
It was a stupid gourd. That vanished or disintegrated after 8 hours. Fucking hellion.
Stupid gourd. All right. Yeah. So that's what obviously it looks like Talon's injuries are not anything like physical wounds or anything. And maybe you could talk to the priest more and see about what has gone on there.
Yeah. Let's go talk to Priest Man again. See if he needs anything. How I can help.
Okay. You shut the door to the room. Kylon being super quiet with his clunky armor and Tor following suit. And you make it back over to where the priest is now. It sounds like he's sounding out arcane or maybe divine. It seems like he's saying some kind of a prayer maybe as he's reading the scrolls, and you can tell instantly that this is some kind of magic that he's reading from scrolls, trying to understand it. And he looks up and he says, welcome. Hello. Says, I really am busy right now. Can I help you with anything though?
Yes. The two young men in your medical ward?
He says, yes. Did they need anything? Or did you hear them yelling or were they calling out?
No.
One of those. Okay. What about them then? Do you know them or?
I do, but not the point. We want to help.
All right. He looks and he sees the symbol of Iomedae, and he points over at Kylon. He says, "Okay. He says maybe you can help. Maybe." He says, the former head priest
person
had left some scrolls. He had made some scrolls of some various prayers. I just have not said the prayers ever before myself. And I do not want to read them incorrectly, and I do not know exactly the best way to harness the magic to be able to be a conduit for Aristil. I do have some scrolls here that might help, but I'm not sure. He looks at you, blinks his eyes. He says, if the high priest was alive before they got injured, he would have just healed them. We've never had any kind of problems with anybody having an unfortunate demise or any kind of problems because he was always able to just bring them back, and he had such a connection with Aristil. I think we relied on it. Maybe this is a test for me growing in my faith, though. But I am not able to understand most of these scrolls. And you see there's 15 different magic scrolls just laid about, like opened up.
Kylon, please.
Kylon says, I don't know magic. I mean, I could definitely kill something if there was something evil. Maybe if there was a demon around them possessing them, then I could take care of it. But I don't know about these. These don't make any sense to me. He says, ask Tor. He points over at Tor.
Tor? Delstria?
Tor kind of looks down. Tor has 0 ranks in spellcraft still. He just looks down, and Tor says, Sonny, the Fae spirits, I have to take the magic from them. He says, it's not nice the way that I talk to them and I get the magic from them. I can't. He says, I don't know how to. He looks at the scrolls. He says, I'm sorry.
I'm going to turn to Delstria, and Sunny is like beside herself at this point. Like, Delstria.
I can.
Delstria knows words.
Delstria, you're really smart. You can figure this out, please.
Delstria, you could make a spellcraft check, which is a use magic device check.
I can try to see if I can read it.
These spells won't be on your spell list. They will be higher than your caster level.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck Fox. Okay, hold on.
Fuck
That's
Fox
like
is about right. I think you're looking at a DC 25 or 30. Let's see here.
Libby, you have like a bajillion. You're fine.
I'm
Oh
gonna
my
use.
She's like,
Guess what? It's on my spell list. I'm so excited.
You have spellcraft points.
I do have spellcraft points.
What is on your spell list?
Regenerate.
Well, okay.
I'm never gonna get there because it's a level 9 spell for me, but it is on my list. So,
Okay, spellcraft check.
shit. Hold on.
DC
You know
20
what?
plus the spell level. Deciphering it. Okay, deciphering is easy enough.
Hold that thought.
If she meets all 3 requirements for her caster level is not high enough. It's the correct type on your spell list. Requisite. Do you have a 17 in wisdom? Either one of you. Ability score in wisdom. Do you have a 17 or higher?
No.
Fun fact, it's actually not on my list. It's on the druid list, but it's not on the hunter list. So
Well, Hunter,
forgot that.
you know, whenever we're talking about maybe redoing some things, I hear druid could be a good alternative.
Oh, wait, hey, guess what? Sunny's wisdom is a 17.
Is it really?
It is.
How the hell did... Wait a minute. How the hell is... Let's take a break. How the hell is Sunny have a wisdom of 17? Does anyone know this?
Because I put points into it. I don't remember. Oh, because it's my spellcasting ability. That's why.
Oh, well, shit, that's good, but it's not on your class list. Okay, hold on. Just here to make it even harder.
Because technically it's on my list because I pull my spells from...
Okay, so it's definitely a use magic device roll. So we'll look up use magic device. Oh my god, this is great.
But technically the hunter doesn't get a spell level that high, so it's not on my list.
Oh no, it's definitely not on your list, but you have a high enough ability score.
Yeah, I do. All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So let's check here and see. For each one that you have off, I think this is just going to turn into a horrible thing. You do not want to roll a nat 1 also whenever doing this check, by the way.
Cool. Hey, Will, can you take away that juju? Because
okay. Oh, okay. So it's a minus. You can use your use magic device check minus 20. Is where we start with.
so I'm literally never going to be able to cast it.
Hold on, you might be able to do it. You can do it. Okay, scroll. There we go. Scroll.
Well,
Plus the caster level of the spell.
caster level would be what, like 14?
Is a 14, so it'd be a 34 is the DC, it looks like. In addition, casting a spell from a scroll requires a minimum score. Okay, we knew about that.
Yeah,
You have a 17. So
I do.
okay. Yeah.
So with the exception of getting a nat 20, I literally can't make this check.
Well, also you're emulating. Oh, that's just for a magic item. Okay, a scroll. 34. I think it's a 30. I think it's a DC 34, but I think you also have a. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to go back to scrolls.
Well, it says here to activate the spell.
Because in scrolls,
It has to make a caster level check. DC equals scrolls caster level plus 1.
That's it. That's if it's
if she meets all 3 requirements, but her own caster level is lower than the scroll spell's caster level, then she has to make a caster level check.
Why the fuck is this not just internet? I don't have an internet right now. Fucking internet.
Internet.
She does not meet all those requirements. That's the bad thing.
Shocker. Ooh, sorry. I'm a little salty. Okay.
Yeah, I obviously can't even load a fucking web page now. So don't know what happened to my internet, but we're able to talk at least on it. So
that's fine. But like, yeah, Sunny's never gonna be able to make this check.
So it's not on her class list at all?
No, it's not.
No.
And for magic items, at least oh motherfucker, now everything's just crashing. Okay. For the system reference document has so much trash going on in the background and ads and everything. It's just completely garbage now. Okay, emulate an ability score. Don't need to do that. Emulate an alignment. Don't need to do that. You need to emulate a class feature.
I haven't heard of that before.
Use magic check result -20.
So I literally can't do this unless I get a nat 20. Okay.
So to cast this spell from the scroll, it's a 34.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like. No, it says spell class list. Oh, no, it's just a 34.
Even with a 34, I still can't hit it without a nat 20.
Well, the good thing is it's not multiple checks. I think it is just for scrolls. For other magic items, it'd be harder. But for a scroll, it's going to be DC 34. So
great.
Also, I might want to mention in scrolls, there is a mishap section. Scrolls, one of the few magic items. If you roll a nat 1, I can't pull it up right now, but scrolls, there's a mishap if you roll a nat 1. I think it does consume the magic or something bad does happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Sunny would try.
I'm just saying that if you're just trying to check for eventually you're going to get a nat 20.
A reverse or harmful effect. Libby, she's definitely not going to try that.
I pasted it there, the scroll mishaps.
Thank you. Because I can't load anything still.
It's fine. No, she's going to cry because Delphia doesn't know it.
You will find out that this is a priest of Aristil. He is a level 5. Caster level 5. He does have 2 restoration scrolls. He has a raise dead scroll, and he does have a regenerate scroll. In addition to that, he has multiple other minor scrolls that are not going to be effective really doing anything to either one of these. Restoration, because of the drain damage that's been done to Hawk, is going to be needed to fix him up. Restoration, which is a much lower level than regenerate. Regenerate is going to be needed on Talon to fix him up.
Okay, well, you know what?
Oh God.
Cool.
Is Hawk's ability drain or?
It is drain.
Oh, no, I got it. Because regenerate is also a shaman spell. We just need to go find Tin Killer. We're going to kill all of the birds with 1 stone because we're just going to go find the barbarians and we're just going to bring Tin Killer and we'll bring her back to Idenvay and she can fix him. It'll be fine.
She could fix him, and you know what? They don't like technology in Idenvay. Her clan doesn't like technology.
See, it's a win-win-win-win-win. That's what we're going to have to do. Talon's just going to have to be paralyzed for a little bit. He's fine. Is he dying from poison or is it just the paralyzed? Okay. Just making sure that, like, if I walk away from him, he's not really going.
And Hawk is stabilized as far as like his condition, but he is definitely got some drain going on. Did I mention how bad some of these creatures are? Maybe Sunny knows.
Yeah, Sunny knows. Okay. It's fine.
Okay. So the scroll of regenerate, though, or excuse me, the scroll of restoration, that is also on Tor's list, but he is not appropriate level to cast. So he would once again have to emulate the level.
Okay.
Could restoration heal Sunny's damage?
Yes,
Also,
it
yeah.
would. Yes, it would. There are 2 scrolls of restoration.
Hunter, you are literally the worst. Like, nothing is on my spell list. It's fine. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna go for it now.
So I think it's a DC 27. DC 27 to cast the restoration scrolls at this point. I don't know if that helps at all. That is if you are Tor trying to cast it, but Tor doesn't have any ranks in spellcraft. So, yeah, he'd have to get a nat 20 also.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the best way possible. I'm pretty sure that the brothers are just going to have to fucking live with it right now. And then we're going to go find Tin Killer, and we're just going to bring Tin Killer back because they're stable. They're not going anywhere.
No,
they're fine.
They're just fine.
You know, we can't spend our entire game chasing the barbarians down.
I mean, we can. Watch me.
Yo, watch me.
Okay. Sunny would like to get out of the super depressing hall.
Okay.
Let's.
Do you go ahead and find an empty room or two and put some of your things that you don't want to carry around, like your supplies and stuff? Let's say your rations or other things in them, or
yeah, I'm assuming that they'll be safe here. So
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like it's an unsecured building, but it does look like it's safe. You know, it doesn't look like anybody's going to be doing anything around here to your stuff.
I don't trust that. I'm not leaving anything important behind. It's like the super basic, like bedroll stuff. So
right, and sleeping armor, obviously,
and the sleeping armor, of course. Mm-hmm. Why would you carry the sleeping armor around?
No, you don't need that during the daytime. Okay, so you kind of take a little while to get your things set up there, just very quickly, and the priest, obviously, Barak is he's not incompetent, obviously.
That was Borak.
I don't know what it is.
Because Barak makes me think of the president.
Oh, that's great.
President.
Let's do Barak then. There you go, Barak. I wrote it down wrong. Barak is obviously not incompetent, but he's just like, it seems like he had a elder priest that was a badass that kind of took care of everything until the elder priest was savagely mauled by these creatures and killed. And now he's having to take care of things himself.
It's fine. I want to ask him what he knows about these creatures.
Okay, he will describe to you. And he will describe well enough that both of you can make a knowledge nature check. So a nature check to see if you could maybe identify these through a third hand information.
5, be a 30 with my other +5.
Okay. Oh, let's see if I can even open up this thing. Wouldn't that be fucking fun? Oh, now it's working again. Okay. Okay. Let's see. A 23 and is that a 35, did you say?
30.
A 30? Okay. Both really good. The closest thing that you can come up with that you think that would fit the description is a Yao Guy.
What the fuck is a Yao Guy?
Yao Guy, it is a huge magical beast. And it's basically a mutation of multiple different creatures fused together. Although this one does sound like it's something very different. As a matter of fact, it seems like it's glowing green essence is something that was very familiar to you with the manticore. Kind of reminiscent of that. From the sounds of it, it is a very big creature of a little bit higher than animal intelligence, that continually, because of its mutations, is from the sounds of it, has some sort of regeneration. In addition to that, this one is laden with quills like a porcupine all over its body. And in addition to that, one of its additional hands that's kind of growing out of it is a mess of tentacles that is growing out of it, almost like some kind of a tumor or an addition that is fused together from some other sort of creature. It looks like basically a mix of multiple different animals, like a bear and possibly like some clawed feline, almost like a spotted tiger or something of that, maybe a leopard. But it does have a tentacle, and it has claw on one, and it has a big bear mouth, and it's really big. And it's a really confusing description just because of all that, because this is what he got from the brothers as the description of it. And more than them, he got the description from his mentor, the high priest before him. It does not seem like this is an evil creature. It does seem like this is some creature in nature, but it is not quite natural in that it has been deformed, and it is definitely a mutated creature of some sort. That is the best description I can give you, because these are so unique to each other in their mutations. They're so unique to each other. You just know that they are massively powerful. They're huge size. And other than that, there could be a mixture of different mutations that have gone on affecting this creature.
Great.
Does it have the scent ability? Maybe. Does it have dark vision? Maybe. Is it immune to things? Possibly. It does seem like it was. It did have some. It did have some kind of resistance to spell effects. So you imagine that there is some kind of spell resistance on this creature also.
Cool.
Yeah, after a confusing description, that's what you get from all of that.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
And you also kind of hear the backstory. It seems like Jevik was the first to find this creature. And from the sounds of it, Jevik is the first one that contacted the priest. And the priest came out with a group of guardsmen, and with the high priest before helping the guardsmen and enhancing the guardsmen, was able to kill this creature's mate. Not the creature itself, though. The priest was, strangely enough, outside the walls by himself the following day to check into Jevik, not knowing that there was a second such creature, thinking that he had killed the original. And that's whenever he was set upon and slaughtered along with Jevik and along with Jevik's family. The second party then was called up to find the priest so that he could be brought back and be put back together and reanimated. Reanimated is the wrong word. Raised from the dead. They were never able to find the priest's body. It is thought that maybe the creature has eaten the priest, and no one really was able to investigate much because upon hunting for the creature at Javix Farm a second time, that's whenever they ran into the other mated pair of these creatures, and they were pretty much destroyed by it. So
Great.
The Borak was the only one in that group to survive really much damage, and he was able to recover the two hunters and bring them back. But Red Tooth or Red Fang, whichever red it is this time, Red Fang was slaughtered and killed because his name is too similar to Red Tooth. So he was slaughtered in that expedition.
He was the old high priest, right?
Red Fang was actually a one of the council members, a fearsome hunter himself. That actually was the councilman taking care of the hall that you're staying in. Basically, the caretaker there of the High Hall. His room is still down the hallway, and it is shut, and it is locked, as they are trying to figure out exactly the best way forward. It doesn't seem like there has been any funeral ceremonies yet done for Red Fang. Red Tooth, Red Fang. And the entire city, you think this is the reason maybe why the gates were locked, is because of this monstrosity that exists outside the walls.
Okay.
There is something else also that the priest tells you. He tells you to be very cautious, that everyone is kind of at their wits' end just because of what's happened, of course, to the high priest and the others here. But also he says there was something else. Red Fang, he had found something had been handed over to him, some evidence that the Technic League was working around here, that there could be actually Technic League presence somewhere around. The city's not obviously not welcoming to the League in any way, and he wasn't sure what Red Fang was trying to find or what he did find, but there was something going on where Red Fang and some of the guards were keeping their eyes open for some kind of presence there of the Technic League. Very shortly before he went on the hunt and was killed.
Okay. Thank you for the information.
Okay. And what do you guys want to do?
Group, I think that we should go have lunch and come up with a plan of attack.
You know that is music to two of your members' ears. So that's absolutely agreed upon by them. Leaving kind of like the dimly lit hall that has this priest, working frantically to try to understand spells that are really outside of his ability to cast. You leave and you find a local dining hall that has lots of plump vegetables and salads and all sorts of other things, not meat related on the menu, but also some safe game meals that are also declared proudly on their sign there at the door. Creatures that were not shown any kind of mutations that are safe to eat.
All right, let's go find a seat.
As you go in, there is cider, of course, to drink. There is some wine. also brought in from outside of the city, and some of it actually made here within. Those are their options. They do have proudly proclaimed also on the sign, they have fresh water also.
Cider? I'll have cider.
Cider. Cider for Tor also. Kylon, he says, I don't want to drink any water really. What is this water? What I mean, everyone else, just water is water. It's it's clean, right? Why do you have to declare that it's fresh? And the tavern keeper leans in and says, "Well, there's you don't. They should have told you. You never want to drink any of the bad water. The bad water," she says, "it comes from location number 6, Long Bitter Lake." She says, "You don't want to drink any of the water there. It's bad for you. You shouldn't be consuming any of it or even swim in the waters down there at Long Bitter Lake. It's not good for you." She says, "We harvest from the pond in the south." She says, "The clear pond." She says, "It's fresh water there. Always is fresh. And the priests make sure that it's fresh and safe for consumption." Kylon nods. He says, "Yeah, I'll have some of that then. That sounds good enough." So yeah, you some food brought out to you. What do you want to discuss? What is the group going to be going into?
So we have 2 major things that I think we need to take care of. The first being this creature that is to the south. And the second is the fact that Red Fang had some sort of evidence of the Technic League.
It sounded like there were 3 of these creatures, these Yaguai.
I might have described that in a confusing way. It sounded there was a mated pair, and one of them was killed, and there is another one that kind of struck out after that. Okay. So there.
I thought you said only 2 mated pairs, and there was one single creature was killed. One mated
pair, one killed. So yep. Love struck. A widower.
So 1 mated pair and 1 has been killed. Okay, so there's one left.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was me describing it poorly.
I don't think Doug would put us up against multiple of these things right away. Maybe it has babies. Who knows?
So I was only kind of half listening to part of that. Where did you say where Red Fang had found this evidence?
No.
Or just that he'd found it. Okay.
He had found evidence somewhere around. It didn't seem like the priest. You got this from the priest himself. He does not know.
Okay.
But he just says to be cautious, and if you see any sign of the Technic League, just to report them, of course.
Well. Well, we already knew there was some Technic League in the area, but now we have confirmation from locals that they've been here.
Yeah, I want to know if they're still here.
Who knows?
And if they're still here, we have to go pay them a visit and talk with them.
Well, apparently at the gate they keep records of everybody that comes in, but there's no guarantee they came in through the gate.
There's also no guarantee of what we're gonna find. Like, I'm not gonna be able to go up to the gate and be like, "Hey, did a Technic League person come through here?" Because I don't know a name.
Well, Colin says it's not like Sanville Tret announced himself either, that he was working for the Technic League. I mean, no one even seemed to know in your own village back there, Delstria, that he was anything other than who he said he was pretending to be, a pottery salesman.
Right. So,
Kylan, there's nothing wrong with pottery salesmen. Like,
he kind of shakes his head. He's like, yeah, well, he says, it wasn't that good of quality. We can all admit.
you're right. You're right.
well,
So,
do we want to seek out this creature tonight?
we're under curfew. If we go tonight, we're not getting back through the gates after dark.
Well, do you want to go now?
I don't know. Maybe.
Colin
Is this
says,
creature
"Before you get
nocturnal?"
drunk too much? You do not know if it's nocturnal or not. Some of them are, and some of them are not. That's the worst description for finding out anything about it.
Thank you. That
Yeah,
was super helpful.
Yep, absolutely.
Um,
I love magical beasts. Them and aberrations. Colin says, yeah, probably before you drink too much, it might be good to do it. He says, and he says also, he says we can. I mean, Sonny, he says, as long as we do this for the right reasons, taking out this creature is the right thing to do. We need to, if he's hurting people or whatever the thing is.
Kylan, what could possibly be the wrong reason?
Well, he says, if you were doing it just because you were trying to prove to somebody, he kind of trails off, takes a bite of his salad.
Okay. Not proving anything to anybody, but thank you for the vote of confidence. Appreciate it.
And he says, Sonny, it's not like that. I mean, just, you didn't even talk about these people really.
There's not a whole lot to say.
Okay.
I think they would disagree.
Okay. Look, Hawk decided that he wanted to settle down with me. Didn't bother to tell me till, I don't know, everyone else knew. Surprised me out on a hunting trip. And then everyone acted like it was my fault.
You hear behind you a voice, strong, gravelly voice, and he says, not everybody thought it was your fault, honey. Buckran stands behind you, putting his hand there on your shoulder. He says, we just thought that it was inevitable, something that you would want. We wanted everyone to be around it to celebrate it. You look up and you see this beefy man standing behind Sonny now. He says, and you never made it down the hill to see me.
Sorry, we got a little distracted. Everyone, this is my dad. Dad, this is everyone.
He smiles. He looks like he has a proud face, not shaking and jittery like her mother was. Maybe her mom has calmed down. Sonny knows probably it'll take a little bit longer. Buckran looks like he's like he's a large sized man, and looks like he is a dark black beard there that kind of makes his face look even more full than what it already is. He has kind eyes and a smile that he graciously shows to the entire table. He's like, "Well, welcome." He says, "I'm glad that you're all here. That you came, bringing this lost child back to us." He pats you on the shoulder. He smiles. He says, and Sonny, he says, "I know you say you're only staying for a bit, but we need you here. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. Everything here is better than it was in the village." He says, you would really like it. You'd really love to stay."
It's lovely here, and I've missed you and I've missed Mom, but we can't say things we have to go do.
Yeah, well, he says, "That's okay." He says, "That's okay." He says, "We'll always have a place for you here, you know." And he says, You were able to talk with Hawk. Did you see Hawk?
Yep, that was my first stop after finding Mom.
Yeah, okay.
He insisted on it.
Yeah, he's been coming by all the time, delivering potatoes and bringing rice and helping out around the house. This is a good man, really good man, and I think he's missed you also, obviously. So poor Talon, the shape that he's in right now. It's a rough time. To heal them, it's going to take more than just healing their bodies, but also their spirits. And I don't know if you've heard, but there's another woman that has come into the town recently, and she's spending a lot of time with Hawk, but I really don't think that she would be able to take his heart away from how it's been set. We've had some good conversations, him and I. He smiles to the whole group. He says, anyways, he says, I don't mean to bring this up now. Let me pay for this meal and the next round that you have. We'll be able to talk about this. There'll be time to discuss things, and he says to get to know one another.
Yes, Dad. We will stop by for dinner.
He says, your mother is already talking about the different things that she could make. All of your different favorites, all the things that you love. Darling, you'd not want to know how many things she's buying right now, probably for 5 or 6 meals. You think she's going to be cooking continually just to calm her nerves. So
okay, well, we will stop by later.
He nods. He says yes. As he pats your shoulder again, he says, please do. He says it would warm our hearts. We have missed you greatly. And I would like to know about your friends and who you've met along the way in your travels and journeys. He says it must be exciting going around and going to Torch and seeing different people there and everything.
Yes, very, very exciting.
He smiles at each one of your companions again. He says, well, I will be going. He says, but he says, I would love to talk with you. He says, when you have a chance. And he turns and he slips out of the door of the eating hall on his way.
Oh, I need something stronger than cider.
Colin says, well, you could try some of the dirty water. I hear that's pretty strong. He says, no, don't drink that. Don't drink that. Don't drink that. That would be bad.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll be fine.
He says, so then let's go and let's kill this thing and then come back and then we can have dinner at your parents' house. I always liked the dinners with parents. I wish I could do that. He says, but it helps me to have your parents around. He says,
we'll have dinner with Leto when we find him. I'm sure it'll be great fun.
He nods. He says, yes, my father. Yes, it would be great. He says, just to know that if he's okay. And if he isn't, then that is fine. But yes, eventually it will be with him, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. It shuts him up very quietly for the rest of the meal.
So are we going to the creature first? Or are we doing investigation for the Technic first?
I don't know.
Thank you, Libby. Super helpful. Okay.
Okay, good.
Well, I don't know what investigation we could do for the Technic at the moment.
I mean, we could break into Red Fang's room.
That might be more of a nighttime thing.
Okay.
I don't know. Is there a water mill here? It's not the right person. Just kidding. There's not either.
There is no water mill here. That's a good question, though.
Yeah, but it was the wrong person because Watermill was Esper 281, whereas
Yeah.
Technic was not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess let's go kill a creature.
Okay. Up to you guys. It is your game.
We can try.
I'd really like to not get murdered, okay?
Yeah, likewise.
You're only drained for 2 points of con, right?
Yeah. I'm fine. No worries.
Okay. You're good then.
Yeah.
All right. So you finish up with your meal. Everyone having a hearty meal of lots of very nice, bright colored vegetables and all sorts of things that honestly Tor had never even seen before, that he pokes at a few times and takes a nibble of before putting down. Kylon seems to be a lot more familiar with growing green things and tries to explain them to Tor, like how each thing will taste. Continually orders more and more food and basically nibbles on everything. After you wrap that up,
so Tor's not much of a vegetable fella. He's more of a meat and taters.
Dravid Knock is known as like this muddy pool of muck where these bottom sucking fish clean out and trawl through the dirtied waters, and a lot of the Crusaders pass through there, and the Crusaders themselves are definitely on like a trail ration diet. There's not a lot of fresh things growing over there. It's definitely meat and taters. Yeah, it's a meat and taters diet. So, all right. So you get done eating, and do you just try to locate where this Jevik's farm is and start going there, or anything else that you do?
I mean, I figured that we'd probably talk to the guards on the way out, try and get an idea of where we're going.
Sure. Would you like to just, are you just basically saying we're here to put down the monster kind of thing?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
I don't see why not.
You know what? They have no problem if you have the ability just to do that, but each one of them warns you, telling you the same kind of information, that their high priest was killed, that Red Fang had one of their greatest warriors was killed, and that whatever creatures are out there, that they must be extremely dangerous and very agitated. They usually stay further away from the settlements, especially with all the hunting parties that are continually patrolling the area. But after this has happened, they have called off any kind of groups going to the south, just because they know that they need something more. If their high priest and one of their best rangers were killed, they need something else. And they welcome you to it. There's no reward offered. But you have a feeling that the new high priest himself would give you about anything if you were able to actually slay this creature and make sure that you were able to protect the town. There are eldermen that meet, and they are located throughout the village. If you wanted to take the time to going to different eldermen and talking to them and trying to get their take on things and stuff, but that isn't really your group style.
It's not what we do, so no.
Okay. So it sounds like you don't really, you're like, oh yeah, Elderman, whatever. Just tell them that we're going to kill their monster.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Fair enough. So you are making it to the monster on the farm.
Hey, can we take like a 5-minute break?
Of course. As a matter of fact, this is a good time for a break. I'm going to eat a little bit of food, so let's meet up in like 15 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cool. All right.